All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode, the first run through, the first trial for our attempt at a podcast sort of deal with the one and only, the creative Adam Strawn. Love that new short film you made, by the way.
Oh, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I've been kicking around ideas for some sort of short film that I can post on my channel, but difficult in these COVID times.
Very, very difficult. I think it's kind of like why I went for that, really, because it was just me, like one person
What
in
you can
one
do,
location. Yeah, what can you do, obviously, in lockdown. So, yeah, I just thought sometimes you get the creative bug and sometimes you get that itch and you just need to scratch it. And I just thought, you know what? Let's just do something. So, yeah, please you enjoyed it. Were you scared?
Yeah, I love that that aspect that you took with it, the tone, and then of course I appeared briefly, and what was it, Katana
You
Adele?
did, yeah. Katana and, yeah, you and obviously the bass player. So, yeah, had
Right,
to
the
get my
bass player.
peeps in.
He's he's off to the military now, I guess.
He is indeed, yeah. He's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. All right, so Angelina Jordan and Seventh Heaven is what we're going to talk about for today's episode. Angelina Jordan, of course, is a Norwegian singer. She's just 15 years old.
Yeah, that's insane. That voice does not sound 15 years
No.
old.
She's got such a bright future, I think, and a lot of
Yeah.
different creative avenues that she could take. But she seems to stay true to that jazzy, raspy, just, what we saw the first time we saw her. And then she keeps true to that, I think.
Yeah, and I agree. And I'm so pleased she is because there is a huge market for that. There's a big gap in the market right now, especially for somebody of her age to be recording music that sounds like it's from the 1940s. I think is incredible. It gives her that sense of niche. Makes her, stand out and different from kind of other recording artists who go straight into more, the popular music genre, well, of pop music. So it's great that she's sticking to that genre so far. We'll see how the rest of the album goes, but for like this song to blast off with this jazz, incredible choice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Is that going to, I wouldn't say inhibit her career at all, but it's nice to see an artist that's that talented, not just, eventually I'm sure she'll have some collaborations that are going to be more to get into the mainstream, but it's not about the mainstream, right? But I don't know how to explain that, but
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but I mean, just going off a few statistics, if we look on Spotify right now, so Seventh Heaven has 311,907 views upon viewing right now, today on the 11th of April. And our YouTube account is doing crazy numbers. I mean, 520,000 subscribers. I mean, that's something that what we could only dream of for our channels, right?
yeah.
And then, yeah, Seventh Heaven's got 62,000 views. Well, that's the official studio performance anyway. The audio video, which believe we both reacted to, has 356,000 views. So, yeah, she
She's
is
doing
not
well.
without her audience. She's
No.
doing damn well.
Damn well.
Damn well. Yeah.
Agreed. And hopefully when the album comes out, there'll be more and more ears can hear it. So,
Definitely.
all right. So, Seventh Heaven. What do you
Seventh
think about
Heaven.
this one? It was so different musically to the Million Miles one. Yeah,
Oh, totally different.
they shared like some. They're both emotional tracks, but in different ways.
Yeah, I think so it's interesting because Million Miles was very progressive. I couldn't really, for all that it was Angelina Jordan's voice, and she'll always have that kind of that smoky jazz behind her voice, which I adore and which drew me to her the first time I heard her. Million Miles kind of felt, as I said, very progressive. It kind of didn't really settle in a genre, and I really like that about it. It had that air of intrigue about it straight away. Where I was like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
into this." But it was very emotional, and I
Yeah.
think emotional isn't really a genre, but that's kind of where I would place it. It was written very specifically for a reason, and in some of the interview quotes, which I'll go through with Angelina later, but she kind of does specify that she writes from areas of pain, and obviously that was very evident with Million Miles. And then then we get Seventh Heaven, which is very more upbeat. very kind of more boppy, as we've said. We both said that in our reactions to it. And again, it's just another side of that incredible vocal that we know by Angelina Jordan. But again, it definitely leaned a lot more into that jazz that we know her for. So two very different songs, but nice in terms of difference, in terms of dichotomy for the album going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've listened to Seventh Heaven a lot more. There was quite a space between their releases, so I don't know if that's partially why, but I did listen to Million Miles quite a bit when it released. But Seventh Heaven, it's just so upbeat, makes you like it's good to put on cleaning around the house, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, she is Angelina Jordan, born and raised in Oslo, Norway, and at the age of 7, this is when she graced our screens with Norway's Got Talent, performing Billie Holiday's Gloomy Sunday, and she won Norway's Got Talent. You've reacted to some of her performances from Norway's Got Talent, right?
Yeah. So crazy, just like she's, when she's that young, but her voice is so incredible. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, the fact that she started at that young age. And God, I mean, I'm thinking back to some of the videos that I reacted to. I think, I did Nancy Sinatra, Bang Bang. That was, for me, phenomenal, because I love that song anyway. And then this young little thing just wanders out on stage with such grace, such confidence for that age as well, and just kills a Nancy Sinatra song, which, by the way, is difficult, because the tonality of Nancy Sinatra's voice on that track is incredible. And I always think To Kill Bill as well, when Tarantino uses it there. It's beautiful. But yeah, Angelina just nailed it. And for that young age as well, just that little girl walks out and just belts out this incredible song. Wow. And it's lovely that over time we've just seen that voice mature, but it's kept that beautiful rich jazzness to it as well. It's incredible.
Yeah, there's an interesting video of her in the studio with the guy from blanking out on his name, but he did the show Lilyhammer on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I have not, no.
Okay. It's the guy, he's from The Sopranos as well. He's an American musician, actor. I'm just forgetting his name, but she's in the studio with him and she sings Bang Bang for him. And she actually appears in Lilyhammer in a scene in one of the episodes. It's a good show. Wow. Very solid show.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out, especially if our Angelina's in there.
I'm just forgetting his name for some reason. But yeah, dude, he's very like... he's in Sopranos, and he plays a mobster in Lilyhammer who basically goes into witness protection and ends up in Lilyhammer, which is where's that? Sweden, or maybe it's Norway. I'm not sure, but the Olympics were there at one point, I think.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. But so she's also lent a voice to some charitable causes, including the Rainforest Alliance at the American Museum of Natural History in New York, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, so please forgive me, at the Einheitsverkinder in Berlin, where she helped raise 21 million euros for children and families in need. So this leans nicely into the famous story, which I'm guessing a lot of people have commented on your channel as well as they have mine, to tell us about the shoeless princess, which she is colloquially known as.
Right.
So basically, that story is when Angelina was 6 years old, she met a homeless, shoeless girl. They talked for a while, and then she gave the girl basically her shoes and vowed that she would never appear on stage again wearing shoes until the world's children all had them. And she's always performed barefoot in public, which rings true. There's a lot of videos, pretty much all of our videos to be fair, that we watch when she performs, live in front of an audience. You see she's in bare feet. And for somebody, I think, of that young age to then make that decision and understand that problem with the world, and to have that stance about it is incredible and says a lot about her character. It really does.
Absolutely, I agree. It's definitely a heartwarming story every time I hear that one, and we do hear about it.
Yes, we do. So should we touch a little bit more on Seventh Heaven?
Yeah, let's get into it. So the initial idea for Seventh Heaven was that this is Angelina quote. The initial idea for Seventh Heaven was that I love the number 7 and heaven is such a powerful word and makes you dream away, she explained. I collaborated with Stargate to create Seventh Heaven. Stargate is a producer, I'm guessing. I think he's worked with... Do you know Stargate?
Yeah, so it's a duo. It's, again, I will probably butcher names, but it's Tor Erik Hermansen and Mikkel Storlia Eriksson. So it's a duo. So as you say, they have worked with some huge names, right?
Yeah, they've worked with some huge pop stars, like some of the biggest names in the world.
Yeah.
So the background of making the song was that I had this melody that I played for Tor and Mikkel, And it turned out that they loved the idea, and it went pretty smooth from there to finish the song. And it is a short song. It's just, I think, under 3 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds, just short of that.
Yeah, it is quite a short one. It's shorter than Million Miles, but you know what? I quite like that. I think I said this in my video review of it as well. It's in and out. You know, it doesn't outstay its welcome. It isn't. It's as long as what it needs to be. And even though at the end of it, I was kind of like into the groove, and I was like, "Oh, is it over?" It's because I'm not used to reacting to, I guess, shorter songs like that. But I think in doing that, it's made to be put on repeat to listen again and again. And that hook in the song's such a catchy hook anyway that it does bring you straight back into it.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to just go, well, I enjoyed that. Let's put it on, repeat, and let's listen to it again like times 10 times or whatever it is. But yeah, it is a shorter one.
Whereas Million Miles, I feel, deals a bit more with that painful aspect in terms of where she got the inspiration for it. This one is also really emotional, but more about strength, almost like in the face of whatever calamity that you're facing, right? It's kind of that strong emotional thing.
Oh, massively. You know what? Like when we start to look at the lyrics as well, we'll cover this, but there's those empowering lyrics, which I really appreciate as well, and it's nice to hear that from somebody of that young age as well. And although she has an audience ranging of all different ages, I mean, she does, it's incredible. It's nice that she's kept true to, that finding strength in yourself and like doing something about those harder times that you're currently going through. And again, for someone that young to bring that message forward to an audience of all ages is great. It's incredible. And it's nice that that hasn't been lost in her journey with, Republic Records. There's another quote here as well that she says, where she says about the song Seventh Heaven. So life has its ups and downs, and you always have to be ready for whatever is coming. The song is a reminder to look at everything in a positive light and not get down on yourself. Most importantly, no matter what you're doing, don't give up. It's also meant to make you dance. So, I think that encapsulates it really well. And just that little bit on the end there, because it is such a bop, it does get your head going straight away. And I think all of the other reaction videos that I've watched to that song, everybody is having that, literal kind of bop of the head to the song, because it does. That beat is infectious. It gets inside of you, and you definitely feel that.
Oh yeah, the bass line is just right away.
Yeah, it's a sick bass line.
But it's definitely true what she says. It's sometimes it's difficult, and it's sometimes easier to look at things pessimistically. But at the end of the day, that's not going to help anything. You just have to face it, basically. Into the lyrics we go.
Let's have a look-see.
Seventh Heaven. All right. First couple of lines. All you know a lot about bitterness. There's nothing to do about it. So that's kind of what we just touched on there with your quote and what we spoke about briefly.
And then obviously the next part, we have a bit of a repetition, but life should be lived with hope. And I think that's really prominent. You know what? For the opening lyrics to a song, I think that gives you everything in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines straight away. I mean, it's nice that we get that the introduction of the beat, kind of we get that bass and that before the actual singing starts. And it's not misdirection. It's just interesting that you've got this upbeat music straight away, and then you've got these lyrics that come in over the top. And again, when you kind of your head's already bopping, and then you listen to these lyrics, it's a nice introduction of, oh, okay, so it's basically, the song is upbeat, and it's almost the lyrics are matching that to try and tell you to be upbeat. You know what I mean? To use that upbeatness in your life and in your outlook to say that life should be lived with hope. So it's kind of that introduction of, right, this is what this song's going to be about straight away. And it's very much, moving away from that kind of a really emotional impact of Million Miles. And, this is a brilliant way to introduce you to, right, this is a more upbeat song. This is what we're looking at here.
And it is so catchy too. Like, oh, you know a lot of bit, and like, oh, she kills it. All right, next. Oh, so she repeats that refrain. Oh, you know a lot of bitterness. There's nothing to do about it. Don't give up, because it's right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, ominous, that last lyric there. But yeah, so that one. So again, she's kind of reiterating the same message there, but she's adding a little bit more, saying, like, don't give up. So basically, where she's saying, oh, there's a lot of bitterness. So again, she's kind of repeating that, all you know a lot of bitterness, oh you know a lot of bitterness. There is nothing you can do about it. So that's the same line again. But rather than life should be, it's don't give up. So rather than, saying, oh, life should be about this, it should be lived with hope. This is a sense of, right, we're here now. There is bitterness, you know about it, but don't give up because it's right in front of your eyes. So it's almost like
A call
the
to
possibility.
fight.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
Like for the people that are struggling, right? Like it's like you can do like almost like an encouragement, right?
massively. Yeah, like it's right in front of your eyes. It's just for all that, whatever the situation is you may be, it might have a bit of clouded vision over something, but the opportunity is there. You just have to see it.
Absolutely. Seventh heaven on my shoulder falls heavy. Sometimes I feel all my dreams are slowly fading. I see myself in the mirror. I want to love the person looking back at me. Seventh heaven on my shoulders falls heavy.
So I want to ask you, what do you think about that lyric when she sings "Seventh heaven on my shoulder falls heavy"? Because that's repeated quite often through the song. So just that line itself, what's your interpretation of that?
Just the burden of life falls heavy. I don't know, like on your shoulders. Everybody has their different burdens, and they're dealing with their different personal issues, personal demons. But she also said, like, that quote, how she just likes the number 7. So and then seventh heaven wasn't it like a TV show from the 90s or something?
Yeah, I'm sure I saw something about that. Yeah. Maybe it's the box set of that just resting both on your shoulders.
Yeah, the box set of the 90s is probably quite 90s. Yeah. Seventh heaven on my shoulder falls heavy. Sometimes I feel all the dreams are slowly fading.
I mean, I agree, because like when you read that second lyric as well, it is that kind of the burdens, the everyday burdens and pressures that we have on that. Sometimes are placed on our shoulders and sometimes we place on our shoulders. But irrespective of which one it is, we all have them. Every single day there's something that is on the shoulder to remind us, right, we have to get through this, we have to do this. And as she says in the second lyric there, sometimes I feel all my dreams are slowly fading. So that again is, it's almost like if she's talking to somebody, be it the listener or somebody, who has these burdens, she's kind of saying, look, I know what that is like, because, sometimes I've had these feelings where all my dreams are slowly fading when I see these opportunities that I've had in life and I feel like they're slowly starting to fade away. And then that, nicely leads into, and this is my favorite actually lyric in the whole song, which is, I see myself in the mirror, I want to love the person looking back at me. So again, sometimes we can have that burden of, it's hard just to look at ourselves in the mirror and see success, see something where, we look at that person and think, yes, you've done it, you've nailed it. And that is quite deep. There's a lot of different layers that you can go into with things like that, and a lot of personal experience as well that people can bring to situations like that. But it's nice that she's almost kind of empathizing with the person, be it, as I said, the listener, anyone who's going through something. She's almost saying, I've had these moments when I've looked at that person and I want to think, yes, I want to be able to look back and to love that person in the mirror effectively.
Yeah.
But the whole song is about getting to that position and feeling that, and kind of not advising, but just encouraging, yeah,
and having that belief in yourself, and also not comparing yourself to others. Like I see myself in the mirror, and if it's talking about your self worth in a way, and having the courage, the wherewithal to keep going, and be better than you were the day before.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And again, I think you hit on a good point there, Mace, is that, the strength in this song is in the self, and, the lyrics are I want to love the person, I see myself in the mirror. And, there is that lot of personal pronoun in this, I, me, and that's interesting. Again, it is emphasizing that what we said before, the message of the song, which is that inner strength to look for, because it's there. Sometimes you just got to dig deep.
Yeah. And mental health is such and especially now, right, with COVID, and people are kind of have some isolated, like they're isolated sometimes from their families, and then I feel bad for, well, everybody, right, but people that don't necessarily have a solid support network. And this is definitely an inspirational song, but COVID has definitely changed things like that. We have connectivity, like technology now, but with COVID and the economy getting kind of, struggling for certain people, and the socioeconomics of just a lot of our communities, people struggling. So
Yeah, and you know what it is? I think that's really prominent, and it's a good message to come forward during this time. And I think, the next set of lyrics that we've got here really leans into that. So
what do
the
we got?
next kind of, we've got, sometimes I want to be powerful. Got to find the strength within me. Sometimes you look for miracles, but there's nothing in you. So again, it's two-factor, this little section here. So again, it's that message again of sometimes I want to be powerful. I've got to find the strength within me. So I know what I've got to do, but sometimes you just look for something in you, and that, that's that feeling of helplessness. There's nothing in there. And as you said, Mace, when you touched on COVID there, a lot of people have suffered with their mental health during this time when, they've been isolated, they've been away from family, they've been away from friends. And normally the people that they would look to for that inspiration, for that strength, if you are a big people person, it's been really hard for a lot of people for many different reasons. And I think with these moments, like, what we're going through right now with COVID, as I said, to get that inspiration, get that strength from other people has been tough for people where that is their normal kind of sources of where they drain that strength from. So this is a moment of, when they've had to look inside themselves to try and find that power. Sometimes there's nothing in you. There might not be anything in you in this time, but it will be there. It's just, realizing, sometimes you've got to look for miracles. So again, she is saying there, if you're not used to doing that, find that miracle of that inner strength in you. You might look and think, oh, there's nothing in you. Oh, dear God, how the hell do I battle this? How do I do this? But you can. And then that kind of, nicely bleeds into the next section. But yeah, I just think that's really interesting, that little section of 4 lyrics there, 4 lines there, sorry.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of universality to that, because just being a human being, we all share in that burden, right? We all share these universal emotional ticks, like these. Just as a human being, you're going to face hardships, and it's how you sort of decide to deal with it as best you can personally. And yeah, it's having that courage that to realize your worth and kind of believe it at the same time.
Yeah, which can be tough for many people, but as you said, and as Angelina says in this song, it's there. You've just got to find it.
Absolutely.
So yes, then we go into the next section.
I love this section too, like in the actual song, the way it's arranged.
Yes.
The sometimes, the way she uses sometimes as well, it pops up, and just the way that whole bridge is used is great. So where were we? Sometimes I want to be powerful. So we just went through that. Next 4 lines. Sometimes you have to let go and get lost in the moment. Sometimes you want to be careless and let go of sadness. Sometimes you have to let go and get lost in the moment. Wow. It's such a poignancy from Angelina there.
Massively. I think, what's interesting as well is that I've said this quite often about certain artists that I've reacted to on the channel when they get lost in the moment, and that can be applied to many different circumstances, but especially as a performer, when you see that artist get lost in the moment when they're performing. And getting lost in the moment, it doesn't mean that they're lost like, oh my God, I'm clueless, I don't know where I am. It's just more of enveloping themselves in the moment because they enjoy where they are, because they found that inner peace almost. So it's getting lost in that and just, not putting any restrictions on yourself when you found that inner peace and that inner happiness, letting yourself enjoy that moment. And I think you see that in a lot of performers when they're on stage and they're in the moment, they almost forget that they're in an auditorium or an arena surrounded by thousands of people. It's just that moment that they're in, and they're just loving every second of it. And I think that's kind of what Angelina's hinting onto there, saying, look, once you found that moment of happiness, once you found that strength, that inner peace, so to speak, get lost in that moment. Let go of the sadness and just enjoy that moment. Let go of those restrictions. Don't think that you're being judged. Don't think that there's, you have to respect it and, you know, enjoy it in a certain way. Just get lost in it and just be selfish in that moment and enjoy it because it will benefit you.
Totally. And like finding that moment for yourself, like whatever it may be. It might not be singing on a stage in front of a bunch of people, but finding something that gives you some sort of joy, right? And then allowing yourself to get lost in that moment, like whatever it may be, whatever activity or you know, you know what I mean? Like that moment when whatever you're doing just feels correct and you're almost not even thinking, you're just lost in the moment. Like you say, like some of the best footballers or some of the best athletes, some of the best writers, some of the best performers, anything like that, where you're kind of lost in the moment. You're not thinking yet. Everything is it's how do I explain that, but
I get what you're saying. I think I tie it interestingly. I was just thinking when you were speaking there. So there's like a presenter here in the UK. I don't know if you've heard of her, called Fern Cotton, but she has her own podcast and it's all about like mental health and well-being. And she touches a lot on kind of meditation, but in that, it's kind of like, you know, she says meditation doesn't have to just be sitting down quiet in a room, you know, listening to relaxing music for 10 minutes with your eyes closed or whatever it may be. It can be many different things. And, you know, it is that almost allowing yourself to get lost and just kind of letting your mind wander and just kind of, you know, letting go, so to speak. And that can be, you know, going out for a walk when you listen to music that you enjoy. It can be, I don't know, it can even just be like, you know, walking around your home sometimes and just like, you might even have that moment of it when you just, your mind's let go and you're washing dishes or whatever it may be. But it's nice just to let yourself go from restrictions sometimes. And I think when we do have these weights on our shoulders, they are a restriction, a burden, which is pushing us down and holding us down. So it is that actual lyric of saying, you know, you've got these weights on your shoulder, almost push them off, let go, let your mind go to where it needs to go in order to bring that inner peace and bring yourself back. So it is that kind of thing that, you know, it is hinting towards that again. And it is, you know, as you said, you could have a footballer on, you know, a pitch playing the best game of their life and they suddenly remember, oh yeah, I'm being watched by thousands of people, because they're so in the moment of what is allowing them to let go and find that peace.
Yep. And God, what were you just saying? I had a thought there, but I totally lost it.
About meditation, maybe? Or... I think it's gone.
It's gone.
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah, maybe it'll come back.
So then we get the reprieve of some, well, basically like similar lyrics again. So we have seventh heaven on my shoulder falls heavy. Sometimes I feel all my dreams are slowly fading. I see myself in the mirror. I want to love the person looking back at me. Seventh heaven on my shoulders fall heavy. So again, so we're getting this nice, you know, repetition of the chorus again, effectively. And again, it is just that reassurance again of, look, you know, I have these burdens just like you know, I see myself in the mirror and I love the person looking back at me. I know what I have to do, and I understand it's tough to do that sometimes depending on circumstances or the type of person that you are, but it is possible and we can do it. So I think it is just that kind of affirmation of, I understand because I have been there, but it is something that can be tackled.
It's like her quote, right? Life about the ups and downs, and you always have to be ready for whatever's coming up, because we're all facing different things that are gonna come up. There's no avoiding them, and you have to be ready for it. But you have to try to look at everything in a positive light as best as you can, even in the face of these, you know, horrible situations or whatever fight that you're in, and not look down on yourself.
Yeah. No, 100%. And you know what's really nice as well is that the song is bookended. So we have that opening section, which, you know, we'll go through again. So, all you know, a lot of bitterness. There is nothing to do about it. Life should be lived with hope. And it's nice that we revisit that again right at the end of the song. So we obviously have that, you know, little bit towards the end, that seventh heaven, you know, like that kind of repeating again. But then we have that final bit of that section again, which opened the song. And it's nice to go back to that as that kind of leaving that at the end. And I love that the music just ends straight after that, you know,
Yeah.
dum, dum, dum. You know, it's kind of that just that's the statement. That's the way the song ends. So, you know, life should be lived with hope, and then, you know, that's the end point. And it's nice that when you go on to repeat again and you listen to the song again, because hello, of course you do, you kind of start with that again. And it's like, it's a nice journey through the song. We've got this clear bookend, the start and the end of the song, and you know exactly where you are within that. And that message is almost hung on hooks at each end of the song.
Yeah, it's a really, really solid track. I don't know if like if this single is gonna appear on whatever we do see when an album comes to fruition, but this one's really well written, it's well produced, and it has re-listenability. I think it's fantastic.
I agree. It's a strange one as well, because after listening to Million Miles, I really didn't know what was going to come next. So when I saw Seventh Heaven, then, you know, some of the comments straight away, I very quickly just saw before I kind of clicked off them, like, oh, this is a bop. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was quite surprised. And, you know, a bop could mean different things to different people. So I kind of didn't really know what I was going into. And then when I heard it, I was like, oh, wow, you know, totally different from what we've heard already. But yeah, it takes a lot of the strengths of what you and I have both said, what we really love about Angelina Jordan's, you know, vocal, which is that beautiful smoky jazz, and it brings that to the forefront straight away, which I love. That, you know, I love that she's leaning into her strengths that way, and that we've had, you know, something a bit more ballady, we've had something a bit more upbeat. So who knows where we could go with the next song that she releases from the album? Who knows? You know, like, are we going to stick to genre? Are we going to do something completely different? Are we going to take a song and flip it on its head again? But I love that, you know, she has shown us original music here straight away. For all that, you know, she has done some amazing covers of some songs that we know very well. I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like of the Adeles and everything like that. I mean, wow. I love that, you know, we're starting to see the artist come through now. You know, we're seeing the writer come through, and that's something which I think makes great artists going forward. When, you know, artists can master that skill at such a young age, that is something which can be, you know, crafted. It can start to develop a lot more, and the songs that Angelina will write in 10 years' time will be phenomenal because of moments like this when she started so young writing, you know?
Yeah, and she's just 15. Like, it's so incredible. That's always something that is just makes me shake my head, that she's that talented, and she's already been singing in the public eye, you know, not just her YouTube covers or whatnot for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
So she's so experienced already, and I just can't imagine what she's going to sound like in 10 years. Like, it's craziness.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But you know what an exciting journey that she has.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hinted towards this in one of my videos before when I said it's nice that we've gone through and we've watched her from such a young age to then, I mean, other people have watched her, obviously, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of like fans who've watched her right from the very start and every single performance going up, whereas I think I've got 19 videos reacting to Angelina Jordan on my channel. I don't know how many you've got, Mace, but, you know, quite a few. Yeah, quite a few, and it's nice that...
It's always, we always know, right? Right away, a new song comes out, I'm getting like messages, DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angelina Jordan's got a new song out. Better get your video up, and then sometimes I'm a couple days late.
Yeah, and I'm the same, to be honest. And it's, you know what, it's always a great feeling. It's exciting, and it's nice to, you know, to see when a new Angelina video drops. Just, yeah, I mean, were you surprised by the latest one as well, the Adele cover? All I ask.
Not really. Like, I wasn't super familiar with the Adele version of that track, but she nailed it, of course. But I always find a lot of people making comments, they love to do their comparisons and stuff like that, right? Or who's better. Like, I never like getting into that, like, who's better, or Angelina's way better than Adele, or whatever. Like, I mean, art is subjective at the end of the day anyways, but just let the artists be artists. You don't need to compare them.
I completely agree with you. So, yeah, like, I had this conversation recently with somebody where, you know, I mean, they were very much of the opinion of, you know, oh, like, you know, this person's the best singer in the world, this person's the best singer, and you know what?
In your opinion.
In your opinion, you ask 15 different people, like, who's the best singer in the world, you'll get 15 different answers.
Yeah.
Because there is no right answer. It's subjective. You know, it's who you enjoy the most, and that's fine. But again, it's not about, like life in this respect isn't a competition. It's about, right, this person's the best, let's put them number one. We live in a world where people can exist in the same space and be equally as good. It's not about like, you know, all right, this person's the best, so therefore they have dominance. It's not about that. You know, we have this such diversity of music from all around the world, and I have to say, Mace, I take my hat off to you for the diversity you bring to your channel. It's phenomenal. But again, it's just, we can, you know, these artists can all exist in the same space and can be equally brilliant at what they do, and I think that's the best way to look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
100% agree. And I would probably, in my opinion, say that Angelina is one of the best in terms of this particular jazzy. She's, yeah, I think she's one of the best, but some people might not even know who she is and say, oh no, actually, I don't know, some other artist is better, but who cares?
But no, I agree. It's you know, it's phenomenal that since discovering Angelina Jordan, I remember like way back in the early days of like starting my channel, when you know, I was very kind of, people were talking about Aurora quite often, and then I just remember seeing these comments just landing when people were saying, oh, you should check out Angelina Jordan. I remember thinking like, who the heck's that? And then it slowly, as time went on, more people were commenting saying, you've got to check out Angelina Jordan. So I was like, all right, okay, I'll check her out. And I still remember the first time I heard her, and I was like, whoa, you know, who is this young prodigy? And then, yeah, just as time went on, and I just heard more and more of her, I just couldn't get enough of that voice. And as I kind of hinted towards at the beginning of the, you know, this whole recording session, you know, she's going to go on an incredible journey with her career because she is doing something that people her age are not doing. I don't know any other younger artists like that who are tackling jazz in the way that she is, who is bringing it back to the forefront, and the audience and, you know, that she brings with her is incredible, and she can only keep going to higher places.
Yeah, kind of a resurgence of like the 40s, like that jazzy style, and some of those
Etta
singers,
James,
Etta James, Ella
Billie
Fitzgerald,
Holiday.
and yeah, absolutely. She's bringing that back, and she obviously loves that genre, loves that era of music, and it's going to be nice to see sort of a more modern contemporary take. Production, not just production wise, because you listen to some of those things and the fidelity is not necessarily how the fidelity is nowadays, and just imagine some of those singers with some of the production and technology that we have nowadays if we had their recordings in higher quality. But
it feels like, you know, this album, if this is kind of leaning towards the type of album we're going to get with this jazzy type sound, which I hope it is, it's very much an album that needs to be owned on vinyl, in my opinion. I can just imagine, like, you know, spinning this album like on my vinyl player in the flat and just enjoying every single moment of it. So I hope that, you know, I mean, who knows what the album's going to sound like. Obviously, when it drops, we'll obviously, I'm guessing, react to it and have a listen. But I look forward to it, and I am eager for it, and I am already here for it.
Already here for it. Yeah, I go to vinyl, but I don't know. I haven't bought any vinyl in a long time. I don't know. It's just
Okay.
I finally got Spotify again, and I've been really using that a lot. So, but there's nothing like throwing on a vinyl record and holding the sleeve in your hand and kind of looking at the artwork and sitting back and just enjoying it.
Massively agreed. Sidebar for one sec. I ordered a vinyl of. Do you know the artist Youngblood?
I is that Yung?
Yes.
I think I'm trying to think of maybe I reacted to. Did they do something with Beyond the Horizon or no?
Bring Me the Horizon. Yeah, they did.
Sorry, Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, they did. So it was the song Obey. So it was like Bring Me the Horizon featuring Youngblood.
Right. Yeah, I think I reacted to it.
Yeah. So Youngblood's really cool in my opinion. But I ordered his latest album on vinyl, and then it arrived. But I totally didn't realize that it was signed. So I don't know whether I selected a signed version or not. But when it came through the door, and I opened it, and it had like on the actual case, it says to Adam Ta, which is like slang for thanks here.
Yeah.
Love Youngblood, and I was like, oh my god, like literally
Nice.
personalized. Yeah, totally cool. Did not realize that was even going to happen. So yeah, totally made my day. So yeah, that's my little vinyl story of the week.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I used to. I will buy a vinyl soon. I'm gonna pick like something, but Yeah, just
Maybe it'll be our Angelina Jordan. Who knows?
maybe, yeah. But it's cool nowadays though with social media. Sometimes you'll have like random connections with artists and stuff like that. Because depending on the artist, some of them just go on social media. Some have teams that'll do it, or social media managers, whatever. But I've had a couple random encounters with like LP. I remember he commented on my Run the Jewels 4 reaction. I was like, damn.
Wow, that's nice.
It gives you a funny thought of the artist just like sitting at home, hanging around, just watching the reaction to the album.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I remember I have a couple of reactions to the artist Anne Brun. And then I got a pop-up saying like, Anne Brun, the official account now follows you on YouTube. And I was like, hold on, everybody stop. Is this a thing? And then, then she commented on one of my reactions to a song, Just a Love Heart. And I was like, is this even happening?
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that. But yeah, it's crazy. Like as well, when I had spoke to Aurora's mother who contacted me and just said, thanks for, listening to my daughter's music. And I'm like, is this real? Yeah, it's phenomenal. But as you say, like the connections that we've both built in very different ways it's incredible. It is. It's a weird feeling, but it is incredible.
Absolutely. And how's your channel doing?
How is the channel doing? It seems to be going well.
You've been busy.
Yeah. So I'm trying to diversify a little bit, I think. So I obviously have a couple of new artists as well on the channel, as well as some classics. I've been listening to a lot of Corvix and Joey Dean. I don't know if you've seen those reactions, Mace. But two incredible artists there. If you don't listen to them, check them out.
I will.
But I've been trying to do a lot more kind of TV and film reactions. So I did a review of the film Host, which was interesting. Quite enjoyed doing that. I also did the horror film, so The Invader, which is the first, hopefully, of a series. So looking to do some more collaborations with some other filmmakers to broaden that kind of series. So watch this space for that. But yeah, looking to bring more TV and film stuff to the channel, because I really enjoyed that. It was something different, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It would be nice to do something with like another person as well, as kind of we were talking before we hit record. So maybe, we might do something in the future with that. Who knows? Watch this space. But yeah, 24,700 subscribers. So we're getting there. It's slowly creeping up. It's still amazing. And yeah, it still blows my mind. But
it's always
thank
fun.
you, everyone. It is, you know what, and thank you everyone who listens, who subscribes, who is checking this out, because honestly, I think I speak for Mace and I when I say it means the world, and it's really, really, poignant, and you guys are what make the channels essentially, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening, all of your comments and stuff like that. We read them all, we see them. They and I try to reply, but sometimes I get just too many, but
Same.
And it's hard to strike a balance too on what I'm reacting to, because sometimes I want to do rap music, and I understand everybody doesn't want to stick around for everything, but the people that do stick around for whatever it is that we're reacting to, regardless of the content, big ups.
Yes, I agree with that. Some people that, I see their name every single time, and you know what? Thank you so much for coming back to the channel and checking out everything that we do, because it really does mean a lot. And I see some commenters that comment on your stuff, Mace, who comment on mine. I just love that. So honestly, really, those that stick around, those who are new to the channel, those who've been there from day one, we appreciate all of you. We love all of you. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was me and Adam talking about Seventh Heaven. Hopefully we'll do this again soon. If you have another song that you want us to check out, want us to talk about, or anything, you have ideas that you want to hear us go back and forth on, put them down below. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon.
All right, take care. See you later.